The 6 o'clock news starts right now.
San Antonio's biggest ever bond already in front of city voters. The $1.2 billion bond program includes the usual things like repairing streets, building fire stations, improving local parks. But it also includes something new. Housing.
City Hall reporter Garrett Berger tells us how the $150 million for that would be used.
Unlike most of the bond program, there is no definitive project list for the $150 million in the housing bond. Instead, the money would be split into 5 areas based on a framework that a citizen committee developed and city council approved. Most of the money would go toward preserving, acquiring, or producing affordable housing in a mixture of rentals and owned homes. But it also includes a chunk for housing with supportive services.
The $25 million for supportive housing is targeting people fleeing domestic violence, aging out of foster care, and helping to move people off of the street and out of the shelters.
Katie Vella was co-chair for the Housing Bond Committee and is also executive director of the South Alamo Regional Alliance for the Homeless.
We need units available to help move people off of the street, even if they have support from our partners.
The NRP Group, a developer typically focused on apartment complexes, also supports the housing bond, which one of its execs says would make it easier to include more units reserved for some of the lowest income renters when building new developments.
The bonds certainly come in, especially when you want to target more than just like 5 to 10%.
Some have their reservations on the housing bond, like District 10's Clayton Perry, who said this on Tuesday.
Our infrastructure to the tune of $6.6 billion is where we need to be focusing on. And I just got concerns about getting into the housing business with our tax dollars.
Now it's voters' turn to decide.
The bond program shows up as 6 different propositions on San Antonio voters' ballots. The housing bond portion is Proposition F. Early voting lasts through May 3rd, and then there's Election Day on Saturday, May 7th. I'm Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
Happening now, crime questions. District 3 City Councilwoman Phyllis Villagran hosting a town hall with SAPD Chief William McManus. The goal, refine public safety standards for her district.
And as Lee Waldman reports, it's something that neighbors in a South Side community are ready for after an overnight shooting hit too close to home.
An alarming sight captured on a doorbell camera. A man with blood running down his arms, stumbling to the door, saying he's been shot.
Startled, I guess, by the whole thing. We were asleep, heard gunshots, and then about a minute later, we heard the doorbell ring.
The man who lives in the house didn't want to show his face. We caught up with him as he was trying to clean the blood from his front steps and driveway.
We hear a lot of gunshots all the time, except they're further away. But this time it sounded like it was right outside our windows.
According to police, the man in the video was shot 3 times in the 6800 block of Pecan Valley. He stumbled a block away to Anza Street before police were called and he was taken to the hospital. Right now, police don't have a description of the shooter or any details that led up to the shooting.
I don't know. Hope he's doing all right.
Next door, Rosalinda Segura and her husband Julian were also woken up by gunshots.
Bang, 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 bang. You can count the shots that are being shot.
The couple has lived in their home for 50 years. They tell us the violence has gotten uncomfortably close.
We always had the problem, but not like it's coming in now. It's just terrible.
It's a problem District 3 Councilwoman Phyllis Villagran is hoping to address alongside Police Chief William McManus at a public safety town hall. In a statement, Villagran said, quote, making our city safer means listening to the community. Our goal is to engage the District 3 residents in a conversation to help the city refine public safety priorities. Community collaboration will be the key in moving the city forward. While the man whose doorbell camera caught one of the latest gun violence victims won't be in attendance, he thinks the meeting is a good idea.
I'm sure that everybody in the neighborhood would be glad to know that they're doing something about it.
Participants in this town hall will have a chance to hear about the public safety priorities for District 3, and after that they'll be able to ask questions to Councilwoman Villagran and also to Police Chief William McManus. Reporting live, Lee Waldman, KSAT 12 News.
All right, thank you, Lee. Meantime, San Antonio police are investigating a shooting at Haven for Hope that sent 3 people to the hospital. This happened last night around 10 o'clock. Officers say the suspect was trying to beat down the doors at the shelter. 2 security guards tried to restrain him, and that's when the suspect grabbed one of the guards' guns. The weapon fired, and the 32-year-old guard was shot in the leg. The 23-year-old guard took out his weapon and shot the suspect 3 times, but his rounds ricocheted back at him, leaving him injured. All were taken to the hospital and all expected to be okay. That suspect has not been identified yet.
San Antonio police still searching for a suspect who fired a gun at people shooting a music video. Police say 5 people either wounded or grazed by the gunfire overnight on Wurzbach Road near Ingram Road. As Katrina Weber reports, police hope surveillance video will show them who that shooter was.
Music is what drew people in the middle of the night to this parking lot near Freshhead's barber shop. But San Antonio police say gunfire shortly after 2 a.m. is what caused most to scatter. Officers found those who were left behind in the 3300 block of Wurzbach Road, most of whom were suffering from injuries or wounds related to the shooting. Police say 3 men were shot and taken to a hospital. 2 others had been grazed by bullets. They say the crowd was there for the filming of a music video when the real-life drama happened. With those gunshots, police say what had been a music video scene became a crime scene. You can still see signs of it here in the shattered window and giant bullet hole. Police are calling this the result of a drive-by shooting. They say someone in a sedan rolled up and began firing. At this point, investigators still don't know why, but they hope surveillance video might tell them who did it, who turned a video shoot into a shooting. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
A San Antonio man arrested after a state investigation found multiple files of child pornography on his computer. Court records show 27-year-old Antonio Alcides had the files in his Dropbox and email. Alcides was arrested and booked yesterday. This is a third-degree felony. Back in October, it was Dropbox that alerted the authorities. An investigation into Alcides started in February. He's facing 5 counts of possession of child porn.
A former San Antonio adult daycare owner now spending several years in prison and paying back more than $1 million in restitution. That's according to the U.S. Attorney General's office. 54-year-old Sherry Moses sentenced to 60 months in prison. Moses fraudulently billed the Texas Medicaid program while she ran Sherry's Adult Daycare Activity Center. Authorities also say she stole money from Social Security recipients.
We have now learned the name of a man who was killed by a train while sleeping on the tracks earlier this month. He's 41-year-old Nicholas Johnson. This happened April 12th around 1 a.m. on the access road of I-35 in Loop 410. Police said Johnson was sleeping on an elevated section of the tracks just before he was hit. Authorities said that he was killed instantly. A man familiar with the area says he normally sees people from homeless encampments nearby crossing those tracks. Now to the latest on the release of former Marine Trevor Reed, the Texas native now free from Russian prison today after nearly 3 years of detainment.
The 30-year-old now on a flight back to the U.S. after the 2 countries held a prisoner exchange. ABC's Rena Roy with the story.
New video shows American Trevor Reed boarding a plane to freedom after nearly 3 years in a Russian prison. The Marine long seen as a pawn taken by the Russian government.
I can't believe honestly that it's happening right now. When he said, "Lena, I'm going to see you soon," I was like, no, wait.
His girlfriend Alina still in shock. The 30-year-old from Texas finally on his way home.
I can't wait, and I can't imagine what I'm gonna feel. It's more than love. He's my family. For real, his family, I love them a lot.
Reed's parents say Trevor was taken by Russian authorities to Turkey, where he was handed off to U.S. officials in exchange for Russian pilot Konstantin Yaroshenko, convicted of drug trafficking.
Trevor quickly told us that the American plane pulled up next to the Russian plane, and they walked both prisoners across at the same time like you see in the movies.
The U.S. government saying President Biden made the very hard decision to commute Yaroshenko's sentence, who had served more than half of his 20-year federal prison sentence. Though the 2 countries are still at odds over the Russian invasion of Ukraine, they came to this agreement amid concerns over Reed's health. Reed was arrested in Russia back in 2019 for allegedly assaulting a police officer. Reed, his family, and U.S. officials saying the charges were fabricated to take him hostage.
He sounds kind of subdued. I think he's a little overwhelmed.
Yeah, he seemed to be in shock a little bit. We're just glad that obviously he's on his way home.
Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Let's take a look outside with live cam this evening. Clouds out there, but overall, a pretty pleasant day.
Yeah, and the clouds are actually starting to thin out again this evening, so it's going to be a very beautiful evening. We'll actually see the sun setting, and then the clouds fill back in again tomorrow morning for at least the start of the day. The aquifer up again, still responding to the recent rainfall, up nearly half a foot, but we're still well below average for this time of year. But it's good to see at least a little uptick. But one thing that the rain did, boosted the mold count. It's worth it if you ask me. I mean, mold very high at 11,000, but it'll briefly be up. And oak still high at 600, pecan, grass, and pine on the low end. By the way, oak season's really falling off. We're really on the tail end of oak season here. 82 Castroville, Divine at 80, Converse 78, currently in Comfort we're at 76. Very comfortable in the 70s the rest of this evening. We'll talk about our next chance of rain, which does come over the weekend in just a bit.
Check out traffic right now. This is I-37 at Jones, and things moving along pretty smoothly. You can see, though, the exit ramp, though, backing up just a little bit. Again, this is I-37 at Jones.
Still to come here at 6 o'clock, health officials investigating severe cases of hepatitis in children. Hear the advice that one San Antonio doctor has for parents next.
I'm Stefania Jimenez, and here's what we're working on for you tonight on the Night Beat.
I have an old house, so it's even like, it would probably cost me even more to insure it because it's an old house.
Yeah, it's a dangerous trend, putting lives and also homes at risk. Why a rise in fires could have you paying more to protect your property. An important investigation that we're doing. We'll show it to you tonight on the Night Beat.
Thank you, Stephanie. Well, the CDC and World Health Organization have sent out recent alerts about a new investigation into severe hepatitis in children. The outbreaks around the globe have resulted in one death, at least 17 liver transplants.
Our Courtney Friedman found out if children in San Antonio have been affected by this and what parents and caregivers can do to prevent any spread.
A startling alert for parents worldwide. Unusual clusters of children with severe hepatitis or inflammation of the liver.
We see hepatitis all the time throughout the year, and they're mostly sporadic cases here and there.
The largest outbreak has been reported in the UK, but cases have also been reported in Spain, Israel, the United States, Denmark, Ireland, the Netherlands, Italy, Norway, France, Romania, and Belgium.
In the outbreak that occurred in the UK, about 3/4 of them were an adenovirus.
Dr. Tess Barton is an infectious disease pediatrician with University Health and UT Health San Antonio and says adenoviruses are very common and come in many strains. Doctors investigating believe an adenovirus strain is to blame for the hepatitis outbreaks, but they haven't been able to confirm that for sure. The UK data suggests it has nothing to do with COVID or vaccines.
Very few of those children, of the 100 or so children, had actually received any kind of COVID vaccination. Fewer than 20% of them tested positive for COVID.
Dr. Barton says San Antonio's recent hepatitis cases normally would not have seemed unusual.
Definitely we'll be going and looking back and seeing if it appears to be any kind of clustering going on and if we've had any increase in particular viruses such as adenovirus.
In the meantime, they're asking pediatricians to be extra vigilant.
Cases of vomiting, diarrhea, jaundice, all the other symptoms that we would see with liver failure or poor liver function.
Parents and caregivers urged to wash hands before and after preparing food or changing diapers. Courtney Friedman, KSAT 12 News.
Barton also said that children should be able to get the hepatitis A and B vaccines. Just talk to your pediatrician and ask for those.
By the way, we're expecting Dr. Tess Barton to be our guest on tomorrow's KSAT Q&A.
Lots of things to talk about with her today.
During the 6 o'clock news. Absolutely. All right, Sky 12 out and about over, I believe this is Mission San Juan?
San Jose.
San Jose that we're seeing. 79 degrees out there. Great day to get out. Bike to the missions, maybe?
Yeah, just enjoy the
Yes.
day.
I've done that before.
So as have I.
Even did it with our mountain biking team.
Yeah.
Lopez Middle School.
It's a coach. The Mission Reach, such a great area to bike. Yeah.
It is. And you have landmarks along the way, which makes it so fun as well. All right, so let's talk about our rainfall around here. It was good, earlier this week. It was nice to have some good rain Monday and even on into Tuesday. Let's take a look at the month as a whole. We had a lot of days with a trace here and there, which is basically drizzle, and that's about it, and a few hundredths of an inch here and there. But obviously Monday and Tuesday were good for us, just under an inch of rain. So far we've had 1.21 inches, but we're still nearly 1 inch below average for the month. Here are our chances going forward. A few 20% here and there, particularly late Saturday, Saturday night, and then even again into Monday. Let's talk about it right now. We have a few showers far south of town. This is that 10% we were talking about. We're talking just south of Tilden, Los Angeles area in LaSalle County, and farther south toward Falfurrias. I mean, just a few quick splash and dash downpours, but better than nothing, just very isolated in nature. Otherwise, the clouds are generally clearing out elsewhere, and we're having a beautiful, partly cloudy evening. But quiet weather across the rest of the state. Other than a few showers in far west Texas, they could really use the rainfall. This isn't going to make a difference, though. Just a few highly isolated, quick hitting showers out in west Texas. But let's go all the way to Saturday. We're going to fast forward here because the next couple of days will be more of the same. Morning clouds, afternoon sunshine. Saturday, we'll have that as well. But the difference is a cold front's going to be off to the north of us, and it's likely to stall across the Edwards Plateau or northern hill country later on Saturday. That could be enough, though, that front, to kickstart a few showers and thunderstorms just north of San Antonio. And then there's a possibility we could see some of them come our way, or those storms could kick some outflow boundaries our way to generate new storms near San Antonio. So the computer model shows this blob here indicating the potential for precipitation Saturday evening on into Saturday night. It's not a slam dunk yet. A lot needs to come together, and this is just one representation of what could happen. And so we're just keeping it at a 20% chance. But here's the key. If it does happen, it would likely become strong to severe. So something we are watching closely, even though the odds aren't that high. We're going to keep a close eye on and keep you updated. Look at the beautiful sky, 79 degrees, dew point is 64, so a bit of mugginess in the air with that southeasterly wind coming off the Gulf of Mexico. Alpine, 85, Lubbock at 81. For the most part across the state, we've got readings in the 70s and 80s. 74 Kerrville and Fredericksburg, 85 meanwhile in Cotulla with that one downpour just east of Cotulla right now. 81 Divine and 76 in Bulverde. We go to tomorrow morning, mid-60s. Maybe a little bit of fog, but mostly just low clouds to start the day. 68 Hondo, 66 Helotes, and 66 in Gonzales in the morning. Then by the afternoon, a little bit warmer than today in the mid-80s for most of us. So Poteet about 87 degrees, New Braunfels 85, and I think around San Antonio will be in the mid-80s. So here's your KSAT 12-hour forecast. There's that 10% chance in the morning. A sprinkle or two. If you work outdoors, it's not going to delay your job or what you have to get done. 67 at 7 a.m. by noon, partly cloudy and 78. We'll see some sunshine, I think, more so than we did today by the afternoon, making it to 86 degrees at 4 and 5 p.m. That'll be our warmest part of the day. With the southeasterly wind at 10 to 20 miles per hour, gusting up to 30 at times. So a little windy the next few days. Near 90 Friday through the weekend. There's that 20% late Saturday and even Saturday night. Then we could see another few thunderstorms pop up into Monday, but unfortunately nothing widespread in the works just yet.
Okay, thank you, Adam.
All right, if I'm correct, the draft begins tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night.
And there's going to be some local kids with their eyes very much on the draft board.
Yeah, and one in particular we're talking about right now is DeMarvin Leal at a Judson High School who went to Texas A&M. And coming up, we have a little vignette when he talks about his sandwich, the Big Ocho. It's pretty entertaining. Plus, it was signing day out at Brandeis High School. Coming up. It was a special morning at Brandeis High School where 14 student athletes signed their commitments to study and compete at the next level. I'm talking about 4 football players, 1 golfer, 2 for track and field, 1 tennis player, 4 swimmers, 1 stunt, and 1 volleyball player, all celebrated with family and a lot of smiles. Matthew Gibbons will take his football skills to West Point. He said he had a great grandfather who served in the military and that he's proud to start that tradition again.
West Point obviously has a huge legacy in American history. So many great people have been graduates there. My favorite president, Ulysses S. Grant, was a West Point graduate. And really, for me, it's such an honor to be able to not only play the sport I love, but to attend a school and an academy that has such a great legacy behind it.
Layla Smalls will take her volleyball skills to Prairie View A&M. Layla is an incredible story of perseverance, fighting through 3 ACL injuries to her right knee to finish her high school volleyball career with the state championship. She even came up with the kill on state championship point. All of her hard work certainly paying off.
I was talking to some coaches and testing the waters. I took a few visits and then I went to Prairie View and I was like, wow, from the start, I fell in love with the campus. I love the facilities. I love the coaches. They're so awesome. And I met some of the current team that are going to be seniors next year. And I was like, I think this is the right place for me.
Layla said there was a point after her 3rd ACL injury that she thought about quitting, but she battled back for herself, her teammates, and coaches.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
By this time tomorrow night, we'll be less than 1 hour away from the 2022 NFL Draft right here in KSAT 12. The Houston Texans currently have the number 3 overall selection in the first round. According to reports, they're eyeing LSU cornerback Derek Stingley Jr. and Cincinnati Bearcats corner Ahmad Sauce Gardner with that pick. Now, when it comes to getting after the quarterback, head coach Lovie Smith was asked about drafting a pass rusher.
It doesn't matter who we have on our team. We're always looking for rushers. You cannot have enough good defensive linemen. There are a lot of good defensive linemen, inside defensive linemen, and guys on the outside that know how to rush. It's kind of simple as that. And not at that position. There are linebackers we love. There are DBs that we love, and I think the draft, after it's all said and done, will say that.
Houston ranked 28 out of 32 teams last season with 32 total sacks. The Big Ocho, DeMarvin Leal, is ready to hear his name called during the NFL draft. The Judson Rocket is one of the top defensive linemen in this year's draft and is expected to go anywhere from late in the first round to round 2 or 3. During his final season at Texas A&M, Leal capitalized on his name, image, and likeness, and one of his deals was getting a sandwich named after him.
I'm Big Ocho, so it got to be the name of a big sandwich, you know. I got the Big Ocho sandwiches at Brookshire Brothers in College Station, Texas. It started off with ham, turkey, lettuce, tomatoes with bacon on it, with pepper jack cheese and American cheese as well. I recommend personally that you put mayo on. I did have a few coaches try the Big Ocho. They all say they love it. The Big Ocho, coming to a shop near you.
The Big Ocho.
I like it.
I do too.
I want one.
Good.
Yep. Let's see if we can order some.
Yeah. HEB.
Kasky said he'll take 2.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
Now to Washington, where House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy is facing new scrutiny.
This comes after the latest audio release from the New York Times, where McCarthy is heard expressing concern that some of his GOP colleagues may be inciting violence tied to the January 6th insurrection.
ABC's Ike Ajochi in Washington with more.
Today, House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy will be speaking to his GOP colleagues behind closed doors who are looking for him to explain his comments on the latest audio tapes released by the New York Times from the days after the deadly January 6th insurrection at the U.S. Capitol.
This is serious stuff people are doing that has to stop. But our members have got to start paying attention to what they say, too, and you can't put up with that type of
McCarthy can be heard during the call with other House GOP leaders asking why Twitter, which banned former President Donald Trump days earlier, could not also ban Republicans in Congress who he believed were inciting violence, one being Florida Representative Matt Gaetz.
So I'm calling Gaetz. I'm explaining to him this is serious. To cut this out.
Gaetz releasing a statement overnight saying this is the behavior of weak men, not leaders. Representative Adam Kinzinger, one of McCarthy's loudest critics and a member of the Select Committee investigating the Capitol riot, says
Kevin McCarthy obviously has shown an utter lack of leadership. He continues to defend people pushing false narratives, and that's wrong.
The audio tape now getting the attention of January 6th committee chairman Benny Thompson, who says the committee will likely re-invite McCarthy to voluntarily appear before investigators. McCarthy refused to cooperate with the House Select Committee's investigation this past January. Chairman Thompson also says the committee could invite an expanded list of House members to appear beyond McCarthy.
But we're inviting
those 3 members to come in voluntarily. We will probably have an expanded list to look at also to invite them, but it's a work in progress.
When McCarthy was asked if these new revelations of him criticizing his colleagues would hurt his chances of becoming Speaker should Republicans win the House in November, he gave a simple one-word answer: nope. Ike Ajachi, ABC News, Washington.
Today marks Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer's last day on the bench hearing oral arguments. Breyer, a Bill Clinton nominee, has served on the bench since 1994. He announced in January plans to step down at the end of the term, which usually falls in late June, early July. With his voice cracking, Chief Justice John Roberts praised Breyer on Wednesday. He said the other justices leave the courtroom with deep appreciation for the privilege of sharing the bench with him.
The House passed a bill to put together a commission of 8 people to explore creating an institution celebrating the stories, heritage, and achievements of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. The group would consider a number of things, like what it would cost, whether it would be part of the Smithsonian, and how Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders would take part in the process. The move comes days before the start of the AAPI Heritage Month, and as Asian Americans around the country have been experiencing violence. The bill now moves to the Senate.
It is another layer on an issue already deemed a state of emergency by well-known pediatric groups. A new study offering more evidence of mental health decline in young people during the height of the pandemic.
Mandy Gaither with the findings and how to talk to your child about mental health.
It's a public health crisis. Youth mental health in the spotlight once again.
And clearly, a lot of young people are struggling.
A study published in JAMA Pediatrics looked at death records from 14 states with suicide listed as the cause in more than 85,000 cases, while the CDC has said U.S. suicide-related deaths declined overall in 2020. Researchers found suicide rates did not go down for young people in the studied states. In fact, that year, CDC data shows suicide was the second leading cause of death for people ages 10 to 14 and 25 to 34. While data wasn't available for all states, researchers believe the 14 states represented are a good U.S. sampling because they encompass about a third of all youth. If you suspect your child is struggling, John Ackerman with the Center for Suicide Prevention and Research at Nationwide Children's Hospital says, be direct.
Have you ever thought of ending your life? Are you thinking about suicide right now? Often they will feel relieved that an adult is willing to ask that question.
Be on the lookout for warning signs like withdrawing from friends, taking dangerous risks, having extreme mood swings, eating or sleeping more or less, using drugs or alcohol. Ackerman says parents can reach out to a pediatrician, school counselor, or go to the ER if there's an urgent need.
Don't try to solve everything right away, but you just listen and try to understand their pain, what they're going through, and then assure them.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide, there is help out there right now, right this second. Call the 24-hour National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. The number is 1-800-273-8255.
Deutsche Bank is warning about a deep downturn in part because of high inflation. Talking about the economy. While inflation may be at its peak, it's going to take a long time to get back down to the Federal Reserve's goal of 2%. Economists wrote in a report that the central bank will aggressively raise interest rates, in turn hurting the economy. Consumer prices also spiked by 8.5% in March, the fastest rise in 40 years. Some good news in all of this. The bank sees the economy rebounding by mid-2024.
Members of Walmart's discount program are getting a bit of a break at the gas pump. Starting today, Walmart Plus subscribers get 10 cents off per gallon. Walmart did have a discount of 5 cents off a gallon to Walmart Plus subscribers at 2,000 Murphy gas stations, Sam's Club, and Walmart stores. Walmart now doubling the discount and adding 12,000 ExxonMobil stations across the U.S. Walmart Plus is a $98 a year subscription plan aimed at Amazon Prime.
After the break, we're going to tell you about a dining experience that's making a comeback in the Alamo City. More details up next. After taking a break due to the pandemic, you can once again drift and dine on the San Antonio Riverwalk. Enjoy a delicious meal while floating away.
And of course, taking in a San Antonio signature. Max Massey shows us what the event entails and what it means for the Alamo City.
The Drift and Dine is back and seemingly better than ever. Take a look. All right, so Chef Andres, what are we looking at here? Where are you from?
So, Ostra, Moncada Hotel and Spa. So we have here is tuna, tartar tacos, cilantro, aioli, some greens, watermelon, radish.
Moving down the line, Chef Mendoza, where are you from? What are we looking at? It looks good.
So we're from Paisanos Riverwalk. Today we have a mini beef Wellington with a truffle brie mashed potato, red wine demi-glace, and of course our staple shrimp paisano with lemon butter garlic sauce.
Lemon butter garlic sauce. And of course, last but certainly not least, Chef Santiago, where are you from? What are we looking at?
Good morning. Yeah, we're coming from Zoka Restaurant. Come and join us on Thursday. We have some jumbo seared scallops here with wild mushroom truffle risotto with some squid ink crisps. Yeah.
Wow. It looks amazing. So 5 different restaurants each night. What an assortment. Joined here with Edward. What does this mean for you guys here at the Riverwalk, having people back?
It means a lot to us to be able to showcase our culinary talents over at Ostra and the Moncada Hotel and Spa, and also to be affiliated with the rest of these great restaurants down on the river.
All right, Edward, thank you so much. Guys, we know hospitality tourism so important for the economy of San Antonio. So if you're interested, we're going to have all this information. Just head to KSAT.com. Max Massey, KSAT 12 News.
Something tells me Max had that hat, and he just brought it down for that.
Just at the ready.
Yeah. I wanted him to say hoi polloi or something like that, but guess not.
Aye, Max.
Yeah. Where's Tennille? Sorry, dated reference there. I realize. It's 7. Well, do you want to talk about folding some more, like you did at 5, maybe? Folding clothes. Okay.
Yeah.
You were with us at 5. You get where we're coming from.
We're talking about our laundry issues.
Yes.
Yeah, laundry.
I'd rather make fun of Max.
Yeah, it's more fun.
It is.
Yeah, we love you, Max.
I'm not going to argue there.
And he's the best go-to in the newsroom when you need a spare tie.
Really?
And now, or a captain's hat.
There you go.
Maybe some sort of hat. Maritime.
Maybe some deck shoes under his desk.
Yeah,
I don't know.
There you go.
Anyway, 61 earlier today, 80 for the high temperature. Pretty average day. The record high, by the way, 99. But we only made it into the 70s in parts of the hill country. Kerrville, 76 the high, in Fredericksburg, 74. We will be warming up a little bit. We're going to talk about our temperature trends so far this month, how above average we are, and our next chance of storms this weekend in just a bit.
Margot Robbie can now say, I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. And soon, a Barbie movie. Here's a sneak peek of Margot as Barbie in a hot pink Corvette there. Ryan Gosling will play Ken. I agree with his casting choice. Will Ferrell and America Ferrera will also be in the flick as well.
What do you think they'll play?
I don't know.
Will Ferrell? Maybe Anchorman. The movie is set to come out next summer. Here's a little fun fact for you. Mattel, the company that makes Barbie, calculates 2 Barbies are sold every second somewhere in the world.
Wow.
All right, Zoo Knoxville in Tennessee, welcoming a baby chimp. 37-year-old Binti gave birth to a healthy girl on Earth Day. Binti had a complication, but her caretakers and a veterinary team stepped in, and the zoo said she's recovering well. And while Mama gets her strength back, the Great Apes team caring for the baby around the clock.
Now, a name hasn't been announced just yet. The zoo said it's working with 32 other zoos to ensure there's a healthy population of chimpanzees, which are an endangered species. Okay, drink beer, give back. That is the plan behind Anheuser-Busch's efforts to bring Ukraine's most popular beer to the U.S. Starting in May, Chernihievsky, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. That's the beer. It will be brewed in New Jersey and sold on draft in Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, Houston, and Phoenix.
This Chernihievsky is for you. The beer's sales will go to Ukrainian relief efforts, and the company will also donate at least $5 million to humanitarian aid organizations. The pale golden lager, named after the hard-hit Ukrainian city of Chernihiv, which has been brewed in that city since 1988.
Cool effort.
Yeah. Nice golden lager.
Yeah. But, you know, we
I like what
always
they're doing there with that.
I do
work
too.
a beer story into a weather transition.
Well, What kind of came to mind is maybe a little road trip to Houston to pick some up and then a party, Spreester.
I like it. I like the idea.
At Spreester's house?
Yeah, of course. I'm in. We just have to figure out where we can get it.
I don't know if I'm in.
Houston, right? They said Houston, but somewhere in Houston. We can't just show up and knock on every door, can we?
I don't know. You two probably could.
We can get a keg. Let's try and work on a keg from somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
So enjoy a comfortable evening. Beautiful evening to be outside, near 90 degrees, though, by Friday. And then our next storm chance is late on Saturday. So let's talk about temperatures overall. So far this month, we are running well above average. I mean, we're talking 5.1 degrees above average so far this April. The warmest reading, that was 98 on the 13th. The coolest, 44 on the morning of the 8th. So most of the month has been well above average, but the past couple of days have been below average with the rain, of course, Monday and Tuesday, and the significant cloud cover as well. Now, speaking of cloud cover, we had a lot out there today, and now that we're losing our daytime heating and our real high sun angle, these clouds are dissipating and they're starting to fade away. And they'll continue to do so the next couple of hours, but then after midnight, they'll just fill right in again with that southeasterly breeze off the Gulf of Mexico. So here's the visible satellite imagery, and especially these very puffy clouds that you see pop up. Those are the ones that are what we call diurnally driven, where you get the sunlight, the daylight heating, heats the ground, that in turn warms the air, and then it creates those little updrafts to pop up those clouds. Sometimes they can turn into showers. Today we just had a few sprinkles out there, and overall the clouds kept temperatures from being too warm. 79 right now, San Antonio, 81 Uvalde, meanwhile up to 85 in Cotulla. But for the most part, readings right near average for this time of year. Rio Medina, 79 along with Seguin and New Braunfels. Let's talk about tomorrow morning. Comfortable at the bus stop, mid-60s. 66 Gonzales, Uvalde 68, and Bernie at 64. By the afternoon, we make it mostly into the mid-80s, a little bit cooler in parts of the hill country. Comfort, for example, 82, along with Bulverde. High temperatures back near 90 by Friday, and we're going to stay there all the way through the weekend. And it does look like pretty much most of next week in terms of high temperatures right around that 90-degree mark. Obviously, we'd love some more rain. And some of those clouds that popped up farther to the south, I mean, we're talking LaSalle, McMullen counties, just south of Tilden. This is the Los Angeles area as well. That's where we've had a few showers pop up, and closer to Alice and even Falfurrias. But this activity is having a hard time making its way northward, and we're not expecting any more for the rest of this evening. That's highly isolated and going to be short-lived little splash and dash rain. A few showers trying to pop up in West Texas. That's good. They could use the moisture. Just unfortunately, that's a drop in the bucket compared to what they need. And overall, a fairly quiet pattern across the nation. And I'm showing you this because, weeks past, we've seen those big wound up systems, especially off in the northern tier of the U.S. That's just not the case right now. It's a fairly quiet weather pattern other than a few hit or miss showers, especially just east of in the lee of the Rockies. But let's fast forward to Saturday. Weak cold front drops into the Edwards Plateau, northern hill country. That could be enough to kickstart a few thunderstorms that then decide to drift their way southward, or even kick out some outflow boundaries that then develop storms in or near San Antonio very late on Saturday. We're only giving it about a 20 to 30% chance right now. As for your KSAT 12-hour forecast, cloudy in the morning at 67. Maybe a sprinkle, then sunny into the afternoon, making it to 86 degrees. I want to talk about that late Saturday and Saturday night. If we do see a storm pop up, it could likely be strong to severe, but coverage would be pretty limited.
Okay, good to know. Thanks, Adam.
In case you missed it, coming up next.
And good morning to you. It is Wednesday, April 27th. San Antonio police investigating a shooting that happened on the southeast side. Police say the victim told them he was walking home when someone opened fire at him. Police say the victim's a man in his 40s. He was shot in each arm and in the foot.
This noon, we're learning a security officer was hurt by one of their own bullets during a struggle with a suspect. Police say it happened at Haven for Hope. Police say a man was denied access to the building and then began beating on the doors of the building around 10 p.m. last night. Two security officers trying to restrain him. That's when the suspect was able to take a gun from one of the security officers and shoot them.
We now know the name of a man who died after being hit by a train while sleeping on the tracks on the city's east side. He's identified as 31-year-old Orlando Lombard Jr. That's according to the Bexar County Medical Examiner's Office.
San Antonio police hope security footage will help lead to a suspect who opened fire during a music video production outside a Northwest Side barbershop. In total, 5 people were shot. 3 of them were hospitalized. 2 others grazed by bullets. Witnesses say a vehicle pulled up and opened fire. The barbershop itself even had damage from those bullets.
Katie and David join us now live. Good morning. You have a great group there.
Good morning. We do have a great group. Mr. Contreras' class, or Mr. C, as he is affectionately known here with his first graders. So this first grade class has been learning all about the 3 states of matter: solid,
Liquid.
and gas.
Good morning, San Antonio!
Well, good morning, St. John Bosco.
Gorgeous evening out there. Partly cloudy, 77 right now, and not overly humid with the wind at about 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow morning, 67, low clouds, and then afternoon sunshine. A bit windy, though, a southeasterly breeze at 10 to 20, gusting up to 30. Near 90 Friday through the weekend. Slight chance of a few storms Saturday evening and night.
Gorgeous evening. Thanks for watching.
See you on the Night Beat at 10.